Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video with me, the King of the Funkos. I hope you're well, and today we actually have the new series starting. I've been very slow on uploading. I've been very busy at work. I've had a lot of shift changes. Everything has just happened, so I do apologise there. And I don't know if this is going to come out today or tomorrow, but no matter what, I will get something sorted, so do not panic there, and all I can say is I am sorry. But today for top 10, I thought, well, why not just start with the top 10 pops I own. This isn't value wise, these are the top 10 that I like the most. This would change because I'll give you a bit of a sneak preview of what might come soon, and potentially what you haven't even seen yet. I have a couple of Viking pops arriving, and Vikings is by far my favourite series of all time. So I do have some Viking pops coming, so they would probably sneak into my top 10. And even though I will probably rank these in 10th, 9th, 8th, I have all of them here and I still don't know what my ranking is. So it is quite diverse. I have a lot of signed pops which probably would have been kind of a lot higher, but I've tried to narrow it down so there's only one signed pop, because there are a lot that I do have. So without further ado, I think in 10th place is probably one of the cheaper pops that I own, but it's from one of my favourite films, and it was a film before I was even born, and that is Jareth from Labyrinth. Firstly, I love this pop. I absolutely love the movie, which I think it's one of the greatest for its time. And I absolutely love David Bowie, or Bowie, depends how you want to say it. And I just absolutely think this is one of the all-time great films. If you haven't seen it, then you definitely need to. It's, I think, on Netflix, if I am correct. But for sure, my number 10 definitely has to be Jareth. Then to number 9. Where do I put you all? I'm hoping I've got 9 left, actually. We will go with this one. It's probably, funnily enough, I think this is the only... No, there's one other horror. This. It is Captain Spaulding. We actually won this Captain Spaulding in a mystery box. This is one of the top hits. No, in fact, this was the top hit from Demise Collectibles back in the Halloween time. And we all know come October, which is, of course, only next month, we will probably be on a lot of mystery boxes because we all know that I love Halloween. And I love horror pops, so it's the best time to try and get you the grails of Halloween. Now this has gone down in value, but when this was originally, I got it, was nearly £100. I think now it's in the 50s, but still a lovely, lovely pop. So I cannot complain one bit. But for me, it's a shame the actor, I've had a mind blank, has unfortunately passed away. But Captain Spaulding, you are a living legend. To number 7. Let's go with you. George Sanderson. Of course, this is from... Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. is one of my favourite Disney movies. It's one that I grew up with, and not just that. Now that I do have a daughter, Boo is one of those characters that I absolutely love. And if I owned the OG Boo, that would probably be nigh on number 1 untouchable. But for me, this is a pop that I absolutely love. It's from one of my favourite scenes. I have never got it out of its box, but I would love to know if on the back of this it has a sock because I think that would make this pop kind of that extra special. This I won in an auction, I believe, and I got it for a cut price, so I definitely wanted this. So this has to be number 8. To number 7, and it will be this one. It's our first big pop, and it is the Sleeping Beauty Castle Walt Disney one. I would have got the Mickey one, but I had to hunt low and high for this, so this is why this one is higher. And even though this is my favourite collection I own, this is the only 65th Disney that you will see in the video. But I love this one just because I love the Walt Disney holding Mickey Mouse. I think that is an absolutely lovely touch. I know this pop would look even better out of box, but I'm not an out of box person, unfortunately. But definitely I absolutely adore my Disney. You know, I might have tattoos, I might love horror, but still, you grew up with Disney. You can't beat Disney. To number 5. Am I missing one? No, I'm not. To number 5? 10, 9, 8, 7. To number 6, I can't actually count. And it will be the signed pop. And it has to be Sting and Lex Luger signed. These weren't necessarily my favourite wrestlers of all time, but the reason it's so high is 1, the value that I got it for. 2, it's going to be very extremely hard to get these 2 signatures signed very soon, just due to age. And Lex Luger now looks really, really decrepit. I don't mean that in any disrespect, but he's looking rough. And he was a legend of WWE, and Sting is just a legend of wrestling in general. So I was so glad to get these, and that is why I'm kind of hunting now for a lot of my wrestling legends, kind of the older generation, so like my Ric Flairs. I'd love a Stone Cold Steve Austin, kind of the Big Show, everyone like that. So, and of course Undertaker you can't knock, but this has to be one of my favourite wrestling pops, and also my favourite signed Funko. To number 5. At number 5, we are going to put probably my second all-time favourite Disney of all time. It is Peter Pan. And this is the Hook and TikTok. Now, I love crocodiles, so that does help. My favourite animal is a shark, but I do love crocodiles, so that does help a lot. But I just love this pop in general. Again, this would look absolutely incredible out of box, but unfortunately, I just don't do it. But I love Peter Pan, and it's not even because of Pan or Wendy or anyone like that. It's down to these 2 and Smee. So for me, this has to be quite high up. To number 4, it has to be this. It is Bank Robber Joker. Now, everyone probably put this a lot higher because of the value, but for me, it is number 4. I don't collect DC. I'm not a massive DC fan. I watched the DC films because I still like my actions, but as everyone knows, I do have the Joker tattoo, and of course, this was played by the one and only Heath Ledger. One of the best kind of scenes for me in any Batman. So for me, when I had this, I originally won it on an auction, and I got it at a cut price, and I nearly was going to sell it again, but instead I have kept it in the ranks, and it ranks at number 4. To number 3, and it is Sully and Mike. Now, again, I won in an auction. Absolutely love this pop. And just I had a knock at the door. It wasn't the postcode lottery, unfortunately. But again, as I said, Sully and Mike has to be number 3. Again, one of my favourite Disneys. Quite a expensive pop. But this is the only mini I own. And I think they're just quite cute. I mean, who'd want to be scared of these? To number 2. And number 2 has to be, again, a really good Disney. But I just love this pop. It has to be Pizza Planet. Buzz Lightyear. This is an absolute ball ache to try and find in a decent condition. And for me, 1, I love this pop. 2, I love Toy Story. And 3, I just remember this scene and always thinking I'm going to go get in my mum's car and try and drive as a 5-year-old. So that is why I absolutely love this pop. And I just like how detailed it is. You can't really see, but it is just kind of, you can see the rust of the car, exactly like it was in the movie. I love the rocket. I love Buzz Lightyear in the window screen. I think this pop is one of the most detailed, good pops I've seen around. And I'm not a massive fan of oversized pops. I try to keep them down to a minimum. And when you say that, 4 of the top, well, unless you count 2 packs, but 4 of the top 10 are actually oversized pops. But I will only buy oversized pops if I think they are worthy of it. This is one of them that I think is extremely worthy. To number 1, and before I release number 1, you have to be a horror fan to like this pop, and you have to understand that this pop is just so good, because even though this film over 2 parts is nearly 3.5, 4 hours long, this scene is the most iconic scenes I think in horror. There are others out there, but I think it defines this movie more than anything, and it only was the first 2 minutes of the film. So that's why I picked this. But before I show you, you kind of probably know what it is. There are some kind of like mentions that I have that I would have put in. That I do have. I have, of course, add icons Medusa. I like snakes, and I love Greek mythology, so Medusa would have to be up there. I have a signed Michael Myers pop from the actor that plays Michael Myers in the current movies, which I absolutely love because I like Halloween, but I've never been so excited to watch the new Halloween, because I think there's a new invigoration of life in the franchise, which I absolutely love. I have, of course, my other signed pops, which are all my WWE ones there. I could have put a load of the 65th anniversary pops in. I have Jeffrey the Giraffe from Toys R Us that I would have also absolutely loved. It was really, really hard to pick my top 10. But my number 1 spot has to go to my favourite pop of all time, the Pennywise in Gutter scene. Now, as I said, I think this is one of the most iconic scenes in history. And it's crazy to think that Georgie was only really a character in it for no longer than 4 to 5 minutes. He's mentioned constantly throughout the movies, but he isn't a main character, yet he feels like the main character of it all, apart from Pennywise. And for me, you know, I've never seen a movie that kills a kid and it feels, how bad it sounds, so right. And this just defines it for me. I love that they put the boat there. I love the kind of demonic look of Pennywise in the gutter. I like how they've made Georgie look so kind of innocent. There is nothing I would change on this actual pop. I think it is quite incredible. and that is why it is definitely my number one choice. Now, of course, it could have been any of them. I absolutely love Funko Pops in general, but that is why I have used these. It could have been numerous ones. I could have waited and waited, but I think my top 10 is always going to change. So possibly every 3 to 4 months, we might have a little change around, see what my decision is then, come back to it. This is probably the only episode series that I might come back to every now and then, so that you guys have a understanding of, you know, this is number one. This could get knocked out one day. I don't know what by, but it could very well. I mean, actually, I do know. If they make a Jamaican bobsleigh from Cool Runnings, that gets knocked out, because Jamaican bobsleighing, whew, I'm up for that one. But that is it for this video. Let me know what your favourite top 10 is. Not from my collection, but from your collection. Let me know. I won't do Guess the Lindell, because I probably would know it's probably Jareth. But I could be wrong. But I'm not going to do it because it's, of course, Pops from my collection. And of course, subscribe if you're new around here. And until next time, guys, I shall see you all very, very soon. Bye.